holding me accountable little series I got here. It's day 5 on my 2-week series spree. And per usual, I can't set up ahead of time because I'm not in the tax bracket that can, buy the equipment for that. So if you could just bear with me for a second. Let's see. I swear, I keep adjusting this tripod every day and it doesn't, it like moves somehow. Okay, I think that's good. I have to zoom out just a little bit just in case. Okay. Hopefully the music, you can hear it. It seems kind of quiet, the music right now. I don't know. If anybody's watching, if you could just, if you want to, let me know if you can even hear the music and or me. Okay. So today, I'm doing this little flower here. This flower does have 2 little green leaves that are going to be on it too. I just haven't gotten to them. I'm not sure if I'm going to do any leaves on stream because they're so small that I like to do the border and the fill at the same time. Or the outline, I mean, not the border. And it's just too difficult to do an outline on live. Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Momo and Allie. And hello to you both. I hope you had an exquisite day. My day was pretty good, although I was pretty tired because last night we had our first thunderstorm of the season, of the spring, and the thunder cracked, the Nimki cracked real loud, and my poor little kitten, it's her first thunderstorm, and she woke me up and wouldn't let me go back to sleep because she was like, Mom, there's something wrong. Hey! You told me how to say your name the other day and I already forgot. Mazzy? Yeah, so I've been tired all day because poor little kitten was like, what the hell is that? I live in Michigan, northern Michigan. I always make that clarification because it is a lot different in the Upper Peninsula than it is in Lower Michigan. Like, I think, I might be wrong about this, but I think a lot of people, when they hear Michigan, they think of like Detroit or Traverse City or Grand Rapids, like those lower, more metropolitan areas. But I'm up in the frickin' sticks, honey. I'm in the boons. Hey, Terrence. Haven't seen you in a hot minute. I hope you're doing good. Oh, your gaming tag. Awesome. What do you play? I play Xbox, but I'm not one of those snobs that are like, Xbox is better than PlayStation, or I like PC and everything else sucks. Oh, thunderstorms freak you out too, eh? I think it was partially because it's her first one that she's ever heard. She's just a kitten, and most of her life it's been winter, so maybe she'll be less scared going forward. Okay, PC. I dated somebody who was hugely into PC and was really trying to get me to build one. And I kept telling her, I was like, I can't, and I can't spend the money on that. I have a good enough Xbox at home, like I'm good with it. New beadwork. and some powwows. Yeah, it's tough balancing work and all the beadwork you gotta do. Yeah, I know it. Like, if money wasn't an issue, I would totally build a PC just to have one. Like, they're so, I don't know, they're cool. It's really cool what they can do, and just like for aesthetics and like looks too. I would totally love to like build something that I could make my own. All right. So I'm hoping, I know these later streams I've been doing only an hour, but we'll see how I feel in an hour. If I'm only gonna do one petal or if I try and get both done tonight. I don't know though, because based on the size of all the other petals, this might take a full hour to do a petal. And I believe let me double check my sketch. I think I'm just filling it with orange. Where is it? Oh, I'm glad I checked. Is that white? I think it is. Okay. If I didn't check, I would have forgotten that I wanted to do those two little white lines. Ooh, even the desk. Everything for 500, eh? Yeah. Actually, I'll add the white. I'll add the white as we go. So I don't know if any of the future streams are already, I set them up, their schedule, but I don't know if they're visible. But tomorrow I'll go back to like my 7:30 time that I was doing before, because I don't have anything planned for tomorrow evening. But I had announced that I was going to do Friday evening the other day, but I was forgetting the fact that I don't have to work on Friday, so I'm going to go in the afternoon on Friday. And also there's a drum social Saturday night, so I'm going to stream in the afternoon on Saturday as well. And I figured if anybody was not getting to participate because they couldn't, join at night, then it would be good for them too. Yes. So I am beading an eagle staff for my tribe. This is black velveteen, and I'm using size 10 beads. The finished project, this is about the floral setup, it has like vines and stuff as well. It'll be about 4 feet long. Oh, does she do good? I love watching gaming streams. I'll go on Twitch and there's a couple that I watch like here and there, but I mostly watch the same person. Oh my god, a piece of tape came off the project and just stuck on my hand. I tried like streaming my gameplay too. It was just I was just fucking around. Like I'm wasn't planning on like trying to make anything out of it. Uh, I just went on TikTok live and I streamed me playing my video game, which I've been playing The Witcher since like January or something. And I'm just like getting close to finishing the first DLC. Um, but yeah, so I was playing it on TikTok live, and in The Witcher, not only do sex scenes happen, but like they show a whole sex scene on there. And I was not smart about not showing that or like skipping past it or whatever. I just let it play, thinking that it wasn't going to be a problem because it's like, I don't know. I don't know why I thought it wasn't going to be a problem. That was really foolish of me. But TikTok had banned my account. Oh, Minecraft. A lot of people love watching Minecraft. And it's like not even just gameplay that you can do with Minecraft. You can also just like make a world and then perform little skits in that world, like AFMAO. I don't know if you've heard of AFMAO. Probably. They've got like 17 million subscribers on YouTube. No, I haven't tried Apex. I still have to finish this Witcher game. I have Witcher 2, and then I've got a couple Resident Evils I want to play, and I really want to play, I want to replay Village again. Not again. I want to play Village again. I haven't replayed it yet. Yeah, I think I've heard of it. The imagery isn't coming to my brain at the moment of what Apex looks like, but it sounds really familiar. I tend to go for more horror games, which like Gears of War, Bioshock, zombie games, Resident Evil, and The Witcher. Even though The Witcher is like fantasy, medieval time type game, there are quite a few parts that are really scary. I um I tend to use just Singer. Brother is good for beginners, but usually like it depends on your sewing level too. Like if you're only going to do a few basic stitches, I would say that you could get away with buying like a cheaper Brother. The issue with that is I believe my aunt bought a cheap Brother. Like I think she went into the craft store and just purchased like the cheapest sewing machine they had. Because she just figured, well, I'm not a seamstress. I just need a few basic stitches. But when I went to help her apply like ribbons and bias tape to her project, to do a zigzag stitch, you had less control over how long and wide your zigzags were. They basically just had like preset zigzag stitches, so and that really annoyed me because there were times where I really wanted it to be like kind of in between the options the machine gave. So what I use, which I think is really good for my sewing level, and I've been sewing for 15 years too. But I think beginners can also really thrive with this machine too. Is a Singer traditional. It's what I use anyway. Oh, I said that. I totally said that right before seeing your comment. Yeah, Singer tradition is what I use. Traditional, I said. Just real traditional. And it was kind of like, the cost was like an in-between too. It wasn't, one of the cheapo machines, but it's not necessarily like a super expensive one that professionals or like tailors would use. Because I think that people who need those machines would probably be people who tailor for like a business, or maybe they do like bridal adjustments, or I mean, if they make, regalia for a living, there's that too. Oh yeah. Most young women sewed back in the day. My great grandma was a seamstress too. I didn't learn from her though. I actually learned from, like, I wanted to learn. And a science teacher I had in high school said she would teach me. So I went over to her house one day. My mom brought me there and she taught me how to sew. Just like the basics, like an introduction. And then the rest, some was self-taught and some was just learning from aunties, people in my community, Oh yeah, I love those little dolls. You can, if you monetize that too, you can make a good amount of money. But I mean, if you're not wanting to monetize your dolls, that's okay too. But I see them at Powwows every now and then. People getting dolls and making them little native dolls, and I think it's adorable. Whether you want to display it or you want to, get a little girl in your life something that she can feel seen with. But yeah, the Singer tradition, I've made so much with that. Cause I don't only do regalia. I'll do, like the cosplays that I've done, but I've also made just casual clothes with it. I've made a pantsuit. Lots of Halloween costumes. Just sometimes people want different kinds of stitches too that are like design stitches, but I don't ever really use those. The Singer tradition has a couple design stitches, but there are some more expensive machines out there that have a lot more options for those. But I opted out of that because I just didn't find those. I didn't find that worth it for me. Like, I wasn't going to use them. And I was right, because I've had the machine for, God, years now. I just realized how old my machine is. I think I bought it right before moving into the house that I live in now. And I moved in here in 2014. Having an existential crisis here is okay. I'm fine. This is fine. And you know what? I love that your mom picked them up too, just for the sake of like, I like to think of when you find native stuff at thrift stores and you buy it, I like to think of that as like a rescue. because then they won't end up, you know, in non-native hands. One time at a thrift store that I actually bought the table from that I'm using right now, they had a bunch of paintings there, and some of them were like very Renaissance looking, but they weren't like original Renaissance paintings, right? They're like modern paintings that were just modeled after a Renaissance style of painting. So yeah, they had a whole bunch of those and just like landscape paintings, all kinds of different paintings in this thrift store. And they were all, I think, they must have had them appraised or something, because some of them were like $30. I seen one for like $80. They were appraised to be like artwork is typically appraised as. And then there was this little painting that appeared to be, I believe it was like a tribe from the desert. So it was like, I can't remember what I called her because it was my friend at the time. She's Ute, and she was like, "Oh my God, that's a little," and gave me the word for like a cute little girl. And so the cute little girl was, she was sitting there with like a shirt and like a bolo tie and a hat, and she was just standing in the desert, and there's like a little cactus behind her. Obviously native though. You know what they priced that painting as? Which, I mean, I guess was good for me because it was really easy to rescue it. But it was also kind of offensive because you're going to price that modern Renaissance painting $80, but the one with the Indian on it, you're going to price that as $2. $2 whole. Oh yeah, that problem's around here too, big time. Usually dream catchers. Even my own tribe sells like cheap China dream catchers. I'm like, what's wrong with you guys? But yeah, I can't believe that they had just priced it as $2. $2 fucking dollars. And it was a vintage painting. The artist wrote down the year, 1969. I don't have it anymore because I gave it to the friend that, she was like, this is like probably a girl from my tribe. And I was like, oh yeah, this belongs in your hands and not in mine. But that's what I'm saying. Eagle staffs, I just seen your comment, sorry. Eagle staffs they range in sizes. Sometimes they might be taller, sometimes they might be thinner. I think they range anywhere from like, I'd say the smallest I've seen was like 6 inches wide to about a little over a foot wide. And then for their height, the fabric part, I've seen them be anywhere from like 4 to 6 feet. But the pole is usually much taller than the staff itself, like the fabric part of the staff. This one is going to be 4 feet tall and about a foot, maybe a foot and a half wide. I don't know how tall the pole is going to be. The elder that recruited me to bead this, he's making the pole. An eagle staff is basically our version of a flag. They're usually on a pole with sort of a rectangular fabric attached to the pole, and that fabric is donned with different insignia or like symbolism, or maybe just like a name of the tribe or whatever that the flag is for. And then on one edge of the fabric is where you would attach eagle feathers from. And I believe this one is going to have all white eagle feathers on it. So yeah, what you're seeing right here is literally history. But so far, I think I'm making really good progress. I started last Tuesday on these florals here. I'm pretty pleased with how much I was able to accomplish in only a week. And these streams are really helping me too. I said this last night, but I was telling the truth, and I'm telling the truth right now. I'd probably be playing video games if I didn't promise a stream. Because I did get some beadwork done this afternoon. I would have justified that. I would have been like, oh, well, you beaded earlier today. You can splurge on a good gaming sesh. Even though I usually game after stream. I believe I was up until like 1 a.m. last night playing my game. But it was so good because I reached a really pivotal point in the DLC that I'm playing. And I could not stop. Couldn't turn it off to go to bed. Like, oh, I gotta see what happens next. And then there was the thunderstorm and my cat keeping me awake, so yeah. I ended up, this morning, I had to run an errand, so, I was like purposely late for work today. Like I gained permission to be late for work so I could run this errand, and I decided to get the largest coffee I could from Starbucks. Oof, 1 year old. Yeah. I believe it. Not to mention, like, when they are behaving, you might also just be like, man, I'm just tired. I'd rather nap or rest or get the dishes done. Kat said, if I can't sleep, neither can you. I think that, and I think she was scared. She kept nudging me with her nose and like trying to cuddle up to me, and every time the thunder roared again, she would like sit up promptly and look out the window. I think she was very concerned. Climbs out of both the baby gate and the playpen. Oh dear. little humans. Thinking they run the show, and they kind of do. Like, we like to think we're the boss, but are we? Yeah, our little bosses, eh? He is 11. 12 later this year. I'm flipping ancient. You had help? How do you remember this, or did your brother tell you? No, I think I'm gonna take those off. I don't want it to be that long. Oh my god. I am 31. I'll be 32 in like a month and a half. And yeah, I was young as well. I was 20 when he was born. And then my other two were one was when I was 24 and my last was when I was 26. But I do get that a lot. People are like, wait, how old are you? Some people think I'm really young. They think I'm like 23 or something. I get that a lot. And then when I tell them I have children, they get really surprised. And I don't blame them because I do limit how often I talk about them on the internet just because I've dealt with a lot of craziness on the internet. So and I just want to respect, like, their privacy, I guess. Yeah, young mom life. Never really had that chance to run amok. Aw, thank you. I'm trying to be anyway. You just reminded me though. I'm not even sure how to say your name. Tinnilicus? Teen-licus? Teeny-licus? But you just reminded me, I have a younger sister, and she is a whopping 12 years younger than me. So she was real little, and I was like a teenager, right? And my parents have a basement, and I believe she was like 2 years old or something at this time. She was trying to go down the stairs. She's like fucking around, and she's a clumsy little toddler, you know? And I was telling her, like, be careful, don't fall. And what do you know? She slips and her body literally rolled, like rolled all the way down the stairs, down to the base floor of the basement. And the whole way, she like, I don't know, it feels like it happened so slowly. But as she was rolling down the stairs, I obviously start freaking out and I go chasing after her and I'm like screaming her name over and over again. And my mom was in the living room right around the corner and she was like, "Stop yelling at her, you're gonna scare her or make her fall." And I was like, "She is falling." But she ended up being completely fine. I don't even remember her crying or being upset either. She was just like, "Oh, what the hell was that?" And if she did bump her head, then it must have made her really smart, because now she's like in college and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I lost myself for a while too, actually. That's like where my break in dancing came from. It was about, the last time I had danced was when I was 22, and then I picked it back up again when I was 28. And shortly after I had picked it back up, I mean like 6 months after or something, my great grandmother had passed away. And she was like, there's just something about when elders in your community pass away, because it's just like they were our last like direct connection to almost pre-colonization, like the way things were, the old way, you know. So I felt like I lost my grandma. I felt like I lost somebody I really cared for, and I also kind of felt like I had lost like my connection to the old way. She was the last in my family to have naturally learned Ojibwe without seeking out the language. She just, you know, organically heard it from her mother being spoken. So after she had passed away, I really like took an initiative to pick it back up, pick everything back up. You know, I hope that's me when I'm older. Whenever because I'm close with my parents too, and they're close with my kids, and we do a lot of things together, whether we're going camping or we're going to the movies or something. Like, it'll be me, my parents, my sister, and my kids. And I think people look at my kids like they're my parents' kids and like they're my siblings or something. And it's happened before where people would strike conversation and they would be talking to my mom about my kids. Like, you know how whoever, like the way that you make contact with, or eye contact with people, I mean, it was just like those signals were giving me like, you think these are her kids, don't you? But it has happened where we actually had to explicitly state, actually no, these are her kids. Thank you. Yeah, I think she would definitely be proud. And she was beforehand too. I was very involved when I was a teenager, and then I just kind of fell off in my early adulthood and picked it back up right before she passed away. This needle's bent. I'm gonna keep using it anyway. Might as well. My mom spoke only Cherokee when she was little. Didn't know English till she had to go to school, but doesn't know Cherokee now. Isn't that crazy? Like, I am such a forgetful person too, to the point where I've always kind of wondered if something was wrong with my brain, genuinely. But it's very hard to learn language without using it. If you don't, even if you knew it like naturally and automatically in the past, if you don't use it, you could totally lose it. Yeah. And I mean, that's kind of how my great grandma was too. She stopped speaking it, but if it was spoken to her, she could understand you. Yeah, and I mean, there's white people that want to be us too, so we must be a pretty dope people. uh, Aw, that sucks. I'm sorry. We have a lot of issues like that on my res too. Either it's, you know, that, like drugs and alcohol, or it's just they don't care, or I think some people, they just want so badly to be white. Oh, almost strung up the wrong beads. I think most of us go through that phase at some point in our life. And it's not our fault. I hear a lot of people talk about whether they're Native or not. I've heard people from other like marginalized identities talk about this too. How a lot of people at some point in their lives, whether it's when they're kids or teenagers or adults, they go through a period where they subconsciously or consciously just wished that they were white and wanted to be white so bad. Some people get over that and some people don't. And it's not always like a conscious thing. That's why I say consciously or subconsciously, because I think sometimes it is rather subconscious. Just like their behaviors and their opinions or whatever, it just reflects some sort of like internalized either hatred or just wanting to not be who they are. Yeah, I can only understand a few words here and there. I do try though when I hear speakers go off. They go off. Just going off with that language. But yeah, when I was in my early 20s, that point in my life where I kind of fell away from my culture, I think that was my problem. Like, I think I subconsciously was trying to participate in, I don't know how to word this, like white culture, I guess. I moved off the res. I stopped going to ceremony. I stopped going to powwows. And I just started hanging around more non-native people. And let me tell you, it's wild. Like, the things that I noticed that are just different, I don't know how to explain it. Just like the smallest little things were so different when I would interact with like other like non-native families and stuff, and non-native gatherings and things. I don't know. I experienced a lot of culture shocks. Let's see. The way I say some words are different than what we're taught in class. Oh, yeah, like different dialects and stuff, eh? And thank you for liking my videos. I really want to take language classes, but I feel like I would need to live closer or like on my res than I do now. Just big and loud. Yes. Oh my god. And what you just reminded me of like one of those culture shock moments that I'm talking about. I was like waiting in an airport with two people. One of them was native and she's like from my res and everything. And the other one is not native. She grew up in like the neighboring town or city or whatever. And we were just talking, and I did that native lady laugh where you know you like throw your head back and you're like bah ha ha. And she was like, "Oh my god, why are you so loud? Like it wasn't that funny." And I was just shocked. Like I just sat there and I was like, "This is just me. I'm sorry." But I've heard a lot of people say that, like a lot of native people say that non-native people are like, "Why are you so loud?" I heard about the Rosetta Stone. It's like Minnesota Ojibwe too. So like some of the elders in my community might be like, that's the Minnesota. But it would be better than nothing, and I don't have time to go to the in-person classes. Because I live freaking a half-hour drive away. It's tough. but were your cousins cousin friends? Like I always had friends growing up, but they were all my cousins too. But yeah. I did have a few white friends when I was in school, and or like a kid, I mean, and I went to their house quite often. But I think what made me not really notice like these are white people was they like lived in a cabin, and their parents were like kind of off the grid, like, so they weren't like your typical white person, is what I'm trying to say. They were pretty. I don't know what to say. Like, they could be invited to the potluck, you know? Who belongs to who? Whose kids are you? Or whose kid are you? And you tell them, and they're like, oh, yeah. And at my big age of 31, I'm already like experiencing that phenomenon with kids now. Cause like I remember being asked all the time, whose kid are you? Whose grandkid are you? Oh, you're so and so's. And now I'm like asking kids that. I'm like, whose kid are you? Who's your mom? Who's your dad? Who's your grandparent? Oh yeah, okay, I know who you are now. Oh, the turns have tables. Oh yeah, so they must. Are they like big into the machismo? Don't want the boy to be feminine or something. I tried getting my son to grow out his hair, and he was into it at first. At the time, I had just decided to grow out my buzzed hair. I had really short hair at the time, and he also had, short hair, and I was like, we both get to basically start from the same place. Let's grow our hair out together. And he was into it. And then he went to his dad's house, and then he comes back, and he's like, I don't want to grow my hair out anymore. I feel like they said something to him. If not like his dad, maybe somebody in his dad's family. His mom is, or my kid's grandma is she a palm color person, and she's not a good one. Aw, that's sad. Now, I don't know why, like, non-immediate family members care so much either. Like, why do you care? This ain't your kid. It's my kid. And like the one reason that my son had cited for why he no longer wanted to grow it out was because it bothered him, like it would get in his eyes and stuff. And so I told him, like, if you could just hold out like a month or two longer, then you could pull it back with a hair tie and it won't be in your face anymore. And I told him, like, I'll braid it every day for you. I'll show you how to brush it, how to braid it. You'll look real handsome. And he was still like, no, it bothers me, I don't want it. And so I was planning on giving him teachings about like patience and like kind of powering through something like that, but then he came back to my house from his dad's with his hair shaved. A. You know, A isn't really a thing that's said on my res either, but it is said in some neighboring reses. So I never really said A unless I was around people from other reses, because it was just something that I would like pick up. Like I wouldn't really organically use it in my day to day, but it's like, you know how when you go somewhere and they have a different accent than you and you spend enough time with them and you kind of end up picking up their accent a little bit? That's what that was about. Yeah, there's nay too. But yeah, I wish my kid would have stuck out with the hair growing. Because my hair's pretty long now. He could have really long hair by now. I know his hair would have grown faster than mine. He's a kid. Kid hair grows really fast. They got those young follicles. A's? Oh, I actually haven't heard that one. My tribe has a word that, or my res, I should say, has a word that I've asked people around the internet and stuff if any of them said this, and I haven't found so far any other res that says this, but we've always said Ige. Like I-G-E, Ige. So you would say Ige like when something was gross or just like ridiculous. So if something grossed you out, you'd be like Ige. Or if something was just like ridiculous, you'd be like Ige. Young Follicles is the new rap name. Yes. Oh shit. A. I'm Young Follicles. Catch me on tour with Snotty Nose Res Kids. Look for a nice thin one. I know there's gotta be one in here. Here we go. This one should be good. I think. I may have been deceived. No, I was deceived. That's not a thin bead. How dare you treat me this way on the day of my daughter's wedding? Here we go. Oh yeah, I've traveled to other reses. There are 12 in Michigan and a couple unrecognized ones too. And then some tribes also have other pockets of land throughout Michigan too. Like a neighboring res for me is the Sault Ste. Marie tribe, and they have like 5 areas of Michigan where they have land. Or something like that. Because I'm Bay Mills, and then Sault Ste. Marie is like Like 30, 40 miles away from Bay Mills. It's a real short drive. We actually used to be the same tribe, but then Sault Ste. Marie broke off in the 70s. Um, but I've also been to Keweenaw Bay. I've been to Saginaw, Chippewa, Hannibal Indian Community. I haven't been to Pashabi Town or Grand Traverse. There's actually quite a few resos in Michigan that I haven't been to that I really need to visit because they're so close. Been all over Michigan, I just haven't been to the resos. No, I haven't been to any southern tribes. And I mean, I've also been in Canadian, or in tribes on the Canadian side too. Like I've been to Garden River, and then I can't remember the name of this tribe. I just remember the name of the town it was right next to. But there's a tribe right next to Fort Frances in Canada, and I can't remember which province it is, if it's in Ontario or not. But yeah, I went to a res there, and when like I was there with a group, I was like volunteering for this group, and we were going to do an event there, which sadly the event got canceled because they had a death in the community. But the night before our event that eventually got canceled, they were having their powwow. So I thought that was really cool, going there to their powwow and stuff. I had tickets to see Snotty Nose Res Kids in 2020 as well. I was supposed to see them in June that year. I was gonna go all the way down to Detroit and see them, but the Panini ruined things. Yeah, I don't know how, like, why is there this phenomenon that we're all like kind of the same, even though even though we're very different people in very different landscapes. But like, I remember seeing this tweet a few years ago and it just completely fucked me up. Somebody was like, how are we all different native peoples, different tribes with different languages, yet we all kind of ended up with the same English accent, like, you know, the res accent. And I was like, yeah, how? Which, realistically speaking, I think a few of us were like, it must be because of like the boarding school era and stuff. Just kind of, you know, the Pan-Indianism that happened from there. But it's still a mindfuck. A knee slapper. Oh my god. I used to think that was a native thing to say, but I don't know. I do think some non-native populations say it too. There's a lot of things that I thought were native things that ended up not being. And then there's a lot of things that I thought were normal that ended up being native things. It's funny. Oh, I can't wait to get this done. I've had so many requests just in the past few days from people that I know that are asking, like, hey, can you make this? Can I commission you to do this? And I had to turn everything down. I was like, nope, I got this really big project that I really got to devote my all to. Kinda, sorta. I don't really like build an inventory and then sell. And I don't really like advertise that I'm like a craft worker that will take commissions. I've just, if I had time and somebody approached me asking if they could commission something, then I would, yeah, I would make it for them. And it was all like, you know, local people, like family. Most of the time, I don't have time though. I've denied more commission requests than I have accepted. Oh, that's cool. Wild onions, eh? Here's my favorite Ojibwe language tidbit that I love sharing, especially with non-native people. It just blows their fucking mind. Because a lot of non-native Americans, they forget or they don't realize that most names of cities, roads, states in the United States are native languages. So I'm sure you all have heard of the city Chicago. Chicago is actually based off an Ojibwe word, Chicag, which means skunk. And skunks, you know, are associated with being stinky. And basically, what Ojibwe were saying is that Chicago is like the stinky area, and it was smelly like that because it was a lot of wild onions that grew there. So now you know that Chicago has its name because it was stinky. That's why I say I especially like to share that with non-natives because it just blows their mind. Skunk City. Wait, Kim Kardashian named her daughter Chicago? I feel bad for the kid, but that's really funny. That's like, to me, that's like the equivalent of like when people get Chinese or other Asian languages that have that different writing style. They get tattoos of that, thinking that it means one thing, but it really means another. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to keep track of them either. I am not a fan of them. And with all like the appropriating they do, like of course they named their fucking kid Chicago. You know what? I've never been to Chicago. I really hope to one day. But that's like another part of the phenomenon of it being a smelly place, because it's like the wind is what kind of carried the smell around. So I think it's getting pretty late. My back's starting to hurt. So I think maybe once I finish this string here, then I'll hop off. I don't think it's gonna last that much longer. I've been to New York a couple times. It's cool, but it's also a little overrated. Like, it's cool to see the buildings and to just, when you walk down the street one block and you've already seen so much. There's just so many buildings, places within those buildings. There's so many people around. They all look different. They're all doing something different. But at the same time, you could like be approached and somebody asks you if you want to buy some cocaine from them. That actually happened to me. Or you could be walking down the street and a rat pops out at you. That happened to me too. Yeah, I'm actually sitting on the floor on 2 pillows. One of them's like a really thick couch pillow, and the other one is like a little, it's shaped like a daisy. It's so cute, but it's meant to be sat on too. But it's just, I'm just tired because it's been a long day and I was already tired to begin with, but I am having fun. And I love getting beadwork done. I love accomplishing a good amount of beadwork. I just want to share right now too that I have had taco type meals 3 days in a row. I've been eating like nothing but taco stuff. So on, not yesterday, but the day before yesterday, I get HelloFresh. I use that service for like a number of reasons, but I ended up having a beef flautas meal from HelloFresh, and it was pretty good. And then I saved the other serving of it for lunch the next day. So yesterday I had the beef flautas again for lunch, like the leftovers, and then I went to my parents' house to be there until an evening engagement that I had. So they fed me dinner, and what did they make? They made tacos. So I had tacos there, and then tonight was my tribe's general council meeting, and to sort of attract people to attend the meeting, they were giving out free Indian tacos. So I am like tacoed out right now. I'm using size 10 beads. I typically use size 11, and actually most people typically use size 11 for like seed beads, but I opted to use bigger ones because since this is such a large project, bigger beads equals more real estate covered with less work. So I think that's another reason why this project is moving along so quickly too, because I am using bigger beads than I usually do. Good job, Momo! I'm happy for you! I know that life. Like, let me see what I can get done tonight. Hey, Tyrone. My tribe, I think they did that because they're like fucking desperate. It is really hard to get like my community to attend these meetings because you have to meet a quorum for anything of substance to happen at these meetings. If there isn't a quorum, then they just like give a few little updates and then say, you know, we can't tackle anything on our agenda or make any official decisions without a quorum met. And when you don't have people show up, then you have to wait until the next meeting, and that it could take like up to a year for anything to happen because people aren't showing up. You have to wait a couple months until the next meeting, and then people don't go to that one. So, yeah. So, and I think they've tried other things too, like door prizes or like raffles for shit, trying to get people to come. And this time they did Indian tacos, and it worked. We met a quorum and got some stuff taken care of. Yeah, so the smaller the number, or wait, I'm sorry. The bigger the number, the smaller the bead. So like, you know those big, sometimes they're called like pony beads. You know those big beads that you often see in like schoolhouse or like little kids can play with and make things out of. Those are size 6. The smallest bead I've personally beaded with is a size 13, and those are tiny. But I've also seen people use size 15, which are so freaking little. Like, it's hard to find needles for those too. I wouldn't know because I've never been to a rave, and I'm very upset about that. I was just talking about that earlier tonight at the meeting, or like before the meeting. I was sitting around with my friends, my cousin friends, I should say, and one of them mentioned Electric Forest, which is like a big EDM festival in Lower Michigan. And I was like, I want to go so bad. I've never been to any kind of EDM festival or show or anything. But I'm dying to knock that off my bucket list. 18 and 22? How is that possible? Yeah, so size 11 is the typical for pretty much everything. But sometimes people will use bigger beads for like the fill. You know, like you might have, say like you have designs on your leggings or something, and then all that blank space, if you want it completely covered with beads, then that would be like the fill. So people would use like 11s on the design and then use a bigger bead on the fill, like a size 10 or size 9 or something. Or they'll just do everything in 11s, which is what I did. In hindsight, I wish I would have just used bigger beads for the fill. But oh my god, size 18 and 22, I can't fathom how little that is. Like, I haven't even seen the master, Jamie Okuma, use beads that little. She be using size 15s to do those real intricate pieces of work. Like those purses with like Pennywise and stuff on them. Oh. I've never been to a rave. How are we gonna fix this? Come on. Take care of this now. On fancy shawl steps, I mean, like I could in the future. I will say that I'm not like a competition dancer. I'm basically that means I don't have a lot of like steps and skill under my belt to be a good teacher for dancing. I can just like kind of talk about basics and like offer a few of my typical little moves. I did do a jingle dress one, not on my channel, but when the panini first came around and everybody was kind of doing all of these like social distancing, like Zooms and videos and stuff, the fitness center for my tribe commissioned me to record like a instructional video of how to dance jingle dress. I can't remember the name of the YouTube channel that they put it on, but it's something like jingle dress moves with Chelsea Moon or something. Yeah, like something simple. I would have to think really hard about what I would explain and what I would keep off the video too. Just because like there are some parts about dancing that involve teachings and I keep teachings off my channel. Just because like elders in my community don't want me to put teachings out there, but also like we're all from different tribes, so we have different teachings. Is this a Christmas song? I just heard the lyrics say Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve. Yeah, the best way to learn how to dance is to just get out there and also just like watching other dancers too. You might feel like a creep because you're kind of staring at them, but that's one way to learn. And I mean, like, you could also just walk up to them and ask them, maybe offer them whatever your tribe uses for offerings. For instance, my tribe uses tobacco, and say like, in exchange for this, will you show me the way? Verna Street, that sounds very familiar. Oh, and another thing is, I don't know if everybody's dances are the same. Like, I don't know if we'll be doing the same dances at my powwows that you would be doing at powwows like out west or down south. Like here, fancy shawlers do just like the normal like straight dance, and then there's also crow hop and two-step. Which is different from Jingle Dress Sidestep. By the way, I know that like the names sound similar, but she has a dance studio? Dang, that's what I need. But like a mirror so that I can kind of like see myself and realize like what I could fix or like improve on, you know? Boogie with Christmas in April. Hey! Christmas can be anytime if you got the money for it. Maybe that's why the name is familiar to me because her name must be out there. Maybe I've just seen her in my own algorithm. But yeah, that sounds very familiar. Alvin and the Chipmunks. In the Christmas spirit. Christmas Eve. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to add the little white line here real quick, and then after I get that tacked on, then I think I'll end for the night. I've actually gotten a lot of beadwork done off stream today too. Got some more outline done so that I have more to do on stream. Because I'm sure, I don't know who has heard this or heard me say this on stream in the past few days, but I'm just trying to do fill on stream because it'd be too difficult to do outlines on stream. There. Well, let me see. Come on. Your dad wouldn't let you learn to dance? QQ. I should. Wait. Yeah. QQ is like crying. I've only been like watching streams on Twitch since probably about October. So I'm still like learning the lingo too. And I learned what QQ means. So I think I'm like super smart and cool now. For real, it's never too late to learn. My aunt, I helped her make her jingle dress last year. She did dance when she was a teenager, but stopped and didn't dance ever since then. And she's in her 40s now, and she picked dancing back up. Actually, I'll put that right there. Oh. Oh, that's. Yeah, I mean, I understand I know where you're coming from too, with like what our family was supposed to be or could have been, but just things were stopped back then. Um, yeah, I definitely have family members who I'm like, you know, if we were in the old times, I know exactly what your role would have been. But because we're like stuck in what I consider our own like little apocalypse, like we're in the after the apocalypse era. They never got to fulfill those roles that they were probably intended for. Are you teaching me Twitch lingo? All right. Yeah, the Christianity part is definitely a huge part in this. Ginormous influence in like where our people are now. But yeah, it's about 10:30 and I want to relax and probably hit the hay. We'll see if I actually do that though. I feel like I'm going to end up turning on The Witcher and playing until 1 a.m. again, but we'll see. It'll be better for my back anyways. But thanks for hanging out with me. I had so much fun. I think this is the most that I've gotten to talk in all these streams as of yet, and this is number 5, so do you have a question? I can answer it real quickly. Nia Swag, before I head out. I can wait a second. I know the stream kind of lags a few seconds after I speak. I will be back every day for the next the whole thing is supposed to be 2 weeks. This is number 5, so that's what, 11 more days? Your mom's in love with The Witcher. I'm in love with the game, but I am also gay, so I'm not in love with him that way. I am Ojibwe. I'm from Bay Mills Indian community. But yeah, I will be back tomorrow at 7:30, and then on Friday and Saturday I'll be on at noon. Um, and then I haven't decided yet for Sunday. I don't celebrate Easter. I think it's Easter, right? But I don't celebrate Easter, so I'll be on. You're Wichita, Osage, Pawnee, and oh, okay. So are you like an Okie? Like in the South, kind of South Midwest. Mino Debikishkad. But all right. I had a feeling I need to go to Oklahoma sometime. I got a lot of mutuals from there, and they're all very dear to my heart. But sorry to head out right when you get in. But like I said, I'll be back every day for the next 11 days, so we can chit chat more, and I'll do some more beading. I gotta get this project done. So, all right, I will see you guys tomorrow or whenever you want to see me again. Okay? Bama Peak Wapman.